Thoughts on Art?
You know, anytime you lose a father, a leader, the way he was, to not just his kids, but to many men, it's always hard, because the greatest thing that life offers is the opportunity to really help someone. He was one of those guys. He was one of those spirits. And it's funny, you know, because we're human and we have real emotions. And so it's emotional. It's emotional to lose somebody that the only reason I'm in Baltimore is because of him. The only reason the Ravens have a team is because of him. The only reason a lot of sacrifices that's happened throughout this league is because of him. And anytime that you can leave a legacy like that, man, you know, we shouldn't mourn. We do, but we should be celebrating him, because he was one of the most awesome men I've ever met in my life. And for me to know him, I knew the guy had a real plan. For me to even meet a man like that with all the impact he had on this world. So it's hard losing someone that powerful with that much influence. But one day we all have to go. So hopefully we send him out the right with a great celebration.
Do you have a favorite moment with Art?
I think I can go to many moments. I can go to a lot of things that he's always whispered in my ear. I think one of the greatest moments, of course, was actually bringing him the Lombardi Trophy. And us on that stage, and you know, I told him that if we win it, that he was going to have to try to do my dance. And we got on stage, and I done it, and he did the dance, man. And it was just, I think it capped off exactly the way it was supposed to end. Somebody had put in all of that work, and now we was able to bring him what his true dream was the Lombardi Trophy. So that was probably my greatest moment with it. One of my greatest moments with us.
He barely.
Yeah, he did. He did.
What was it like spending some time with him yesterday?
Wow. You know, I'll be brief, because you know the things that I shared with him in his ear, I will always keep that between me and him, because yeah, it's like a son. It is a son talking to a father, and that's the way I looked at it from the moments I started whispering in his ear, because that's what he always used to do to me. He always used to lean me down, and I always used to talk. It's hard to keep talking about someone who loves you that much. You know, like, it ain't as easy as you guys think it is. You know, it's like you have to keep a man like that lifted up, because when you see that time closing, that you know physically that you would never see him again. And that part of it, you let it take care of itself. But everything that I said in his ear, he knew came from my heart. And I love the man dearly. Yeah.
Ray, how much do you think that you guys would be motivated by this season?
You know, I just think when you think about Art, you know, what else kind of motivation do you need? You know, if you know anything about him, you know anything of what he did to this league and what he meant to this organization, why wouldn't you go play for something that's special? You know, because he is watching. He'll always be watching, and he'll definitely be missed. But this season, we will definitely dedicate to him and give it everything we got. And hopefully we can set another Lombardi Trophy beside him.
What do you remember meeting him for the first time, you know, when you were a rookie getting drafted by this organization?
Wow. It's, you talking about coming into a situation to where everything was brand new. You know, everything was. But the way he treated you was never new. He treated you, like I said, he respected you as a man, but me, he just grabbed me as a son from day one. And he never let me go. And he used to always, everything, it don't matter what it was, whenever he saw me, he would always tell me how much he loved me. Always tell me how much I meant to him. And for him to have that much impact, for me coming in that young, him not even knowing me, but to embrace me the way he did, like I said, only God creates moments like that.
Ray, you're going to go in the Hall of Fame eventually. Would you like to see Art's bust there, and is it an injustice that it's not happened already?
You know what? With a blessing, you know, to rejoice seeing him off, think if it's not, then you make the argument. But I think right now, you know, just to celebrate who he is, celebrate him going home. And when you think about Hall of Famers, hopefully, most Hall of Famers that's in the Hall of Fame left a legacy of impact. And if nothing else, Art left a legacy of pure impact. And that's, to me, what a true Hall of Famer is. Someone who leaves their footprints on something.
What do you tell the younger guys about it? Because you're the only one that's still here.
Yeah.
What do you tell the younger guys that, you know, just about him and the impact that he's had?
Well, the thing I share the most is, you know, a lot of times you should just sit down and talk to him. That's the number one thing about him. He will always have a joke for you. Mm-hmm. He will always make you smile. And no matter how bad things are going, he can always reverse it and make you think about something else. Right. And that's why I keep bringing up that word father. Because to me, I never looked at him no differently, you know, than a father. You know, and when I don't care what it was or when it was, if a phone call came across his table and I needed him, he was there. And for young guys to not understand that, hopefully they do understand that. You know, John mentioned it earlier today, that we really wish they go back and research what this man was actually able to do. Because me spending time with him, I had to learn it because I was around him a lot.
Ray, do you think you'd be any different without the actions of Art Modell, just being with this team for so long?
How would I be here? You know, before you go into me being different, how would you be here if he wouldn't have made the stand to build a franchise in Cleveland and then to say it's time to do something else? You know, and he made that change. And for him to make that change, to come to Baltimore, to pick up his franchise, to come to Baltimore, then that's the only way Baltimore and Ray Lewis connected. You know, and that goes way back, man, from, you know, God's plans. God has something plans. No man can create or write down what he has to do for you. And Art was one of those guys that God directed his paths, and he followed it.
Can you understand how or why he's built by some in Cleveland?
It don't matter. You know, man, most of your enemies, you pray for them anyway. You know what I'm saying? No matter what people feel about you, you pray for them. You know, I will never, you know, I've always felt that was disrespectful for somebody to be gone, and then you worried about who didn't like him or who didn't like him. The period, it was too many people that loved him to ever think about the people that don't like him. So be it.
Right. Talk a little bit about the football game Monday night. Then Jarvis Green Ellis was usually overshadowed when he was in New England because of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. What's your impression?
He's a hard-nosed runner. You know, he's one of those one-step cut guys and get downhill. He plays the game the right way. The game should be played, and they have a nice, you know, running back system, you know, between him and 40, and they go back and forth. So, you know, we have our hands full because he is a complete back.
And how does he complement Andy Dalton and AJ Green and what they do?
You know what? That still has time to tell. I mean, that's up to them on when they figure all of that out. You know, I think our thing is to hopefully they don't compliment each other too much this week. You know, hopefully we can go in there and really, you know, get some folks rattled and play as well as we always play at home. And that's kind of what our thought process is.
Is there an offensive player that has made big strides this offseason that you're particularly excited to see in his first game?
Here?
Yeah.
Shoot, I mean, I'm biased because I say the whole offense. You know, I like Jacoby. You know, I like Torrey. I like all my boys. You know, and I just think that they have an opportunity to go out and really exploit some things and really be one of those high-powered offenses.
Ray, what was your impression of Andy Dalton last year in his rookie season?
I think he had a great rookie season. I think he came in and did everything that Marvin asked him to do. I think he played the game with a certain level of passion. You saw his energy, and I think he understood the game way faster than a lot of other people thought he would understand the game. And you see these quarterbacks. You know, you're talking about the Matt Ryans, talking about the Joe Flacco's, all these guys who's coming in right now, Andrew Luck's, who's coming in right now, stepping into those starting roles. I think he has that ability to do that. So I think he just grows into, you know, really mastering his craft.
Ray, could you talk about how Joe has evolved as a leader in this offense?
More vocal. You know, Joe is just more vocal because he's more loose. You know, I think what, you know, bringing Jim Caldwell in here, you know, kind of working with Peyton, and I think it gives Joe a lot of flexibility, you know, to really just now take control of the offense. You know, check out of this if you don't see that, do this if you don't see that. And I think that's what, when you think about a quarterback like Joe, that's the type of quarterback he's always been. coming from his college days. You know, pretty much like a run and shoot offense. You know, to where you get it in and get it out, make the defenses think on the run. And I think that's where Joe right now is really growing into his own because he's really getting comfortable with it.
What kind of pressure does the no huddle create for a defense? You being a guy that's out there and playing against that style of
Yeah,
offense.
communication. That's the number one thing. Anytime offenses start moving that fast, everything is communication because you try to line up here, line up there, and they bring in this package, they bring in that package. You're trying to sub, and you see it all the time. You see the guys try to run off the field, run on the field. You know, so defensive coordinators have a hard time kind of match personnel and things. But I think overall, I think communication is the number one thing.
Ray, Lardarius says it's irrelevant that you guys went unbeaten at home last year and swept the division. Means nothing this year. Do you agree?
Right. The only thing it means is that we can continue the streak. You know, starting with Cincinnati Bengals going 1-0. That's it at home. Everything of 2011 is done. It's done. You know, that chapter is closed. Now we have a new chapter ahead of us, and so we would really enjoy coming out the gate 1-0 at home, and definitely in the division. It'd be huge for us. All right.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.